All right, Steve, introduce yourself for us.
I'm Steve, the finance guy. Everyone's financial coach. That's what I do.
So what all do you do?
Simply put, I make money make sense.
like that.
For people.
Make money make sense. I know that's right.
That.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so what was your first business?
My first business was London Athletics. It was a basketball training company. That's what I did for 7 years.
What made you start that?
So I used to hoop in Cleveland, Ohio. Moved to Atlanta. Nobody knew me for playing basketball. That is, and then so instead of going for the high profile athletes, I went for the rich white kids who sucked. And so that was the first opportunity that I used to start off as an AAU coach. How I found out about training was I called it AAU coach. I was the last person to show up, so they gave me this team in Cleveland. They gave me this team, and they were like the worst set of fifth graders. They were like the teams that nobody
That
wanted.
sucked. Nobody wanted to coach them.
And they were all just a bunch of rich kids that.
Really?
Yep, I was 23 when it started. I'm 35 now, so I was 23, and then they, and then so they were terrible, and then so I was actually really good. My personality was great. I was, you know what I mean. And then so one of the parents was like, "Yo, can you work with my son one-on-one?" And at that time, I was working. I was working at so many jobs. I was a coach of the school. I think I worked at a pizza place. I worked at Target. I did all that
How?
stuff. I was, you figure it out.
You just young and working.
Yeah, exactly. You just
No,
figure
that's
it out.
hustling for real.
I was hustling.
Like,
I was hustling. So
you had about 2-3 jobs.
yep, and I was an AAU coach, so I did that. So then he asked me to work on them, and then he handed me. His name was Ernie Lauber. I never forget his name, and then he handed me a check after I worked with his son for an hour. Something I would have did for free. He handed me a check for $27 for the hour, and I was like, oh, and then it
Y'all
clicked.
might need to get into training.
I'm
And
telling
then it
you.
clicked, and then I ended up having like the whole team was paying me one-on-one to do their stuff. So out of all the jobs, I ended up quitting all those jobs, and I ended up training. Full-time training, and I had like 10 kids because they were getting their friends, and they were all paying me like $30 an hour. So then I said, oh man, I need to do more of this.
Bingo.
I need to get
That's
more
not
kids.
bad.
But you were
That's
doing one-on-one, so it took a lot of your time.
Yeah, but at the time, I was still making more. I was still comparing that to my job, so I didn't really figure that part out. How I can, get better at the job. Be better at training.
Did you know about entrepreneurship then, or did you feel like this was just like
I
I'm
read,
just making more bread?
What's
I might
crazy
as well.
is at the time I read Rich Dad Poor Dad at the exact same time, which is my
Yes.
first book.
Our first
Entrepreneurship
book
I've ever
too.
read.
That was our first book.
So everything conspired that, and then I read The Alchemist, which is my favorite book of all time.
Yeah, you told me that's one of your books.
So my man Santiago. So everything kind of conspires to make it work,
And
so
then it just started your
worked.
journey from there.
Yep, I moved to Atlanta, and I said, "Yo, I want to. Where are the rich white kids?"
Why Atlanta though?
I had a cousin who stayed here, and it was
Everybody got a cousin that stay
exactly.
here.
And so it was so it just made sense. I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a job at Hudson Grill as a bartender server. So I did that to sustain while I started London Athletics, which is my daughter's first name. So I started London Athletics, and then so as the reason why I did that, and this is why being strategic is so important. When you going after something, I didn't just choose any job, right? I became a server because that allowed me to get people to like me in less than 60 seconds. I had to practice that over and over and over again.
You do.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And so my tips showed how it was a reflection of how good I was, right? How effective I was with communication, how, when things didn't go right, how did I still make them feel good and give my tip?
And
You know
put
what
a
I'm saying?
smile on your face.
All the time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it made me a better communicator all in all. It was the best job I've ever, probably the last best job I've ever had.
Okay, so I see a lot of people get into sales jobs and to get into jobs that are paid based on tip to literally
Commission.
give commission
Right.
overall to give them that skill of public speaking or human communications because you need that overall if you want to make money. Period.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I think
business.
yeah, I think sales give you more money depending on what you're selling,
Yeah.
and it's more like
Improves your skills too.
yeah, it does. Serving gives you more of a day to day opportunity.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the opportunity comes to you instead of you going out for sales.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like serving gives you an opportunity to fail more often. You know what I mean? Right? Because when after you get a table, here come the next table. So if you only got $2 this time, then you working on what I'm saying, then you work on upselling, then you work on what I mean. So and then now you got to manage 4-5 tables at a time. So now you learn how to hustle. Now you learn how to get stuff out. And with serving, what I like about it in bartending is that you get to meet people. You know what I'm saying? And so you're meeting people at a place where they're comfortable, and people are more comfortable when they're eating. So people share information and they want to know about you a little bit more when they're eating. So they're not necessarily in their business state. They're not necessarily at home. They're at a good space still. You know what I mean?
That's so smart.
Oh,
One
yeah.
thing you just said is you fail more often. What are the benefits of failing often?
Man, you get to see, like, you get to understand the process and learn faster, right? I mean, trial and error comes it's so costly, you know what I'm saying? And so when you fail often, then your trial and error comes faster, and you get to learn faster. So you get a much more opportunity to correct the things that you failed at. So a lot of times when it comes to real estate, so often, like, real estate is a great example. You don't get an opportunity to fail often, right? Houses, when houses come, that's your opportunity. You got to make the most of this opportunity. And if you fail, then you got to, you fail. You either lost money, you lost a lot of time, you put a lot of time, effort into it. You know what I mean? And so now you got to wait for the next one. You know what I'm saying? Serving, when that gave me an opportunity, like, man, I supped at this table. All right, Steve, table number 3 ready. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta put that face on.
You can go, you got to fix it right away. And you don't have time to be sorry. You don't have time to be, I don't have time to cry about it.
That's
No,
the same thing.
I got to go
Yeah.
get my next check.
Same thing in, like, any sport, bro. Don't focus
Sports
on the
is
last play because
is a
you
great
gotta
one.
work on the next
Another
play.
great example. Sports is another great example.
I think that whole thing, I use that a lot in trading too. You
Yes.
don't focus
Oh
on the
my
last loss.
Goodness, yeah.
You don't, because
Unless you ain't got no money left.
That's okay. We're not talking about blowing accounts, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But no, even when you blow your account, you still don't quit. You
No.
gotta re-up, of course.
You gotta re-up.
You gotta re-up, but I'm not gonna quit though.
You-
Because you learn more from failing.
You have to, right? I mean that's what books are important, and now there's this new wave of information and courses, because it does depend on, obviously you want to trust where the information comes from, but that's where that it helps to eliminate a lot of the obvious stuff. But there's so much stuff that you just have to go through.
Yeah.
Because there's so much mental that that goes into into doing stuff, because our decision making is based on our mental state.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What would you think was like, it's probably a personal question, but what would you think is
It's all
like
good.
the biggest L you've ever taken in business?
Oh no, the biggest L. I took a lot of L's. The biggest L I've ever taken. So most people say that layups, like the biggest L I've ever taken was the ones that felt like it would never be an L. Right, so I mean it was too easy. So most of my biggest L's came from stuff that was I don't want to say too good to be true, but the ones that feel like a layup, you just go quickly in without vetting them. The most. So one of mine was a club. I gave about 60 to 70,000.
You opened a club?
I was supposed to open a club, right? The process to open the club, I didn't realize getting permits and all this other stuff. All that stuff that could potentially derail it.
Yeah.
But you put your money into it first, right? Construction, doing things, or whatever the initial investment to be involved in the beginning. All you hear is club, right? And how we gonna make this money? We gonna do
That's
this,
how
and
I be
we
thinking.
and we got this. So a lot of people focus on the end goal without properly vetting. You know what I'm saying? You know what the process is to get into that point, right? And how that could potentially, stop you from, from reaching that goal, or is there anything that can do that? We just get excited about the end goal, how much money we can make, what's the percentage we gonna get. Sign me up. So, a lot of my biggest L's in the beginning came from me not vetting and just being excited about the opportunity.
The opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So putting in all the costs, because I know, trust me, risk management is the biggest thing ever
Yeah, for sure.
in everything, in trading especially.
Everything.
You can
right.
say you can say that one again.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So having a plan and a strategy in place is very important when starting anything.
100%. I mean, it's risk management is the play, right? What a lot of people don't realize when it comes to business structure, any business venture, it's all about risk management. And then it's risk management from a business standpoint, and then it's risk management from a personal standpoint. And all things are aligned, but it's not the same. So meaning from a business standpoint, there's a risk management associated with what needs to be done in order to open, right? But then there's my personal pockets that affects that too. So where the business may be fine, what it will take from me in order to be involved in this may not be fine. So the business may be a good idea, but it may not be a good idea for me to be involved in the business. And so we don't. A lot of times we'll jeopardize our personal to get involved in the business because the business is good, but our personal isn't. And that's where me being a financial coach, that's why I do what I do, because this may be a great idea, but where you are at personally, you may have the money, but do you really have the money? You know what I'm saying? You sacrificing a lot, you know what I'm saying, to be able to do this. So if it falls flat, you the one ass out. Can I cuss? You the one, you know what I'm saying? You the one out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, that's where risk management on both sides have to make sense.
So I never thought about personal risk management. Now that you said that, I was like, you're kind of right. Yeah, I always think about the numbers, of course. But what about actual, your mental health, time with your family, outside? Because you have a family.
All of it.
So how did you balance? Because I know you were at school, you had business, you have kids and a wife.
It has to, right. So I said this, to a friend of mine. You can't do nothing if your mental health isn't right.
Right.
Right. So if you have to take care of the things that are closest to you, because those are the things that are mostly affected by any decision you make, especially business. So if it's any business that I'm going into, I say, all right, babe, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Right. This could be the potential time that is going to be put into it. I thought about, then I got to think about the kids. You know what I mean? This is where I think we can do this. I think we can do that. Yeah. What do you think? Right. So that's how you introduce an idea. Yeah. Instead of going into the idea and then coming back and and then having to deal with whatever the idea, the effects of the idea that you went into. That's proper managing, that's management, personal risk management. Right? You understand the risk prior, the potential risk, and you do it at its worst. So you say, I don't tell her it's gonna be sweet. I say, listen, at the worst, right, I could be going this amount. At worst, we could be out of this. At worst, we can be doing this, right? Are we okay with the worst? Right? Because these are the potential benefits from the worst. So if we're okay with the worst, then it's genuinely a good idea. Well, a lot of times we make decisions, we say, babe, we're going to make this, we're going to make this, we're going to make that. It's perfect. It's perfect. Y'all going to be good. You're going to have to sacrifice a little bit. It's gonna be a little bit, but don't worry about it. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good in a month.
Yeah. 30 days.
You know what I'm saying? And it never works out that way.
Never. You have anything to add?
Okay, so since you are the finance guy, and we're, youngins, so what can we do as 15, 16-year-olds or up? What can we do to, like, kind of be successful in our older years and kind of set ourselves up for success with the finances?
Yeah, with the finances. So you have a short term and long term. So it's all about. So I am risky at nature, but I understand my risk. So it's all about. You will hear me say risk a lot because that's what it's all about to me. But it's all about going for the bag because I'm a capitalist. So you know what I mean. So I like to make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying. So going for the bag, but then putting yourself in place to be okay long term. And I think for our community, we just go for the bag, but we don't invest in anything that gives us. I mean, I don't think we understand the power of 10% and what that does over a long period of time.
And that
You know what I'm
compound
saying?
interest.
The compound, right? The compound effect.
Yes.
So the problem with the youth in our community, especially, is that we very rarely understand or think that we're going to be 35.
Dang.
We're going to be 16
I
forever.
am gonna be 35.
You know what I'm saying? Right? I know I didn't.
And what your
There
money
was-
going to be looking at?
I don't even know.
35?
35 was like, this was like
That's
crazy old. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
35. And like, this is wild.
That's what I be
I
thinking.
don't even
30.
like. I mean, but I
But you
still
don't
feel the
look
same.
35 though.
No.
You probably feel 26
I mean, you know,
on a good day.
on a good day. No, but it's the same thing, right? I can do the same. It's like that's why I love finance because it's like, yo, I can say the same thing. It's not about it's about the mindset more than the number. Because what happens is I can say the same thing is I don't even think I'm gonna be 50. I'm 35 and I still don't see myself at 50 yet. Right? But it's inevitable
It's coming,
because
yeah.
we learn from history, right? I'm going to be 50 in 15 years, right? And so
Ooh.
I know when you say it like that.
Yeah, when you
Jesus.
say it like that.
so
yeah.
right. So what's going to happen is you're going to be whatever you're going to be. So it's up to you to plan for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I decided to go back to school at an older age because I was like, yo, in 5 years I'm going to be something. So it's up to me to control what that
What it
something
is.
is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's-
And so
that's true.
instead of letting life just kind of swing me around and take me to the next idea and the next phone call and the next, you know what I mean, the next email, the next text, right? To be like, yo, try this, do this. Next opportunity on TV, the next NFT, the next, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that's going to be short term, but just the reaction and the effects of it, right? I control what that looks like. And so where we fail is that to answer your question, you can go after the bag the way I like to, right? You know what I mean? Whatever the next thing is, go after it because you might hit. But on the flip side, you put yourself in place to grow compound effects and, you know what I mean, different things like that. So
I think it's very important.
No, that's very important because especially from a trader's perspective, a lot of people that get into it, especially like trading stock options, Forex, crypto, all the above, they want to get rich quick.
Yep.
And
They
they
wanna
want to
get
have
rich
the Porsche and the life and the house.
And I ain't mad at it.
We all do.
I
Sure,
ain't mad
I know
at
I
it.
sure do. But that 10% that you were just talking about, pull up a compound interest calculator
Oh
and
my
you'll see.
God, I was
You'll
just
see.
looking at a
No.
chart. Like,
that's the
You'll
game
see.
changer. Like, I mean,
You'll
but you got to
see.
think, and that's what
They don't
other cultures do
Exactly.
very well, right? You know what I mean, they understand it.
Exactly.
And they do it and they get it. I'm telling you, like I know, like I have investors who I can always call who want to get in whatever. I know on this hand who will get excited about 10%. You know what I mean, about investing and making 10%, and I know on this hand who be like, hell no,
I want 700%.
I gotta flip this, like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like
I
10%
mean, something
sounds
is better than nothing.
it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, as long as we just got to understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think once we understand it, then we'll get just as excited. So the financial literacy from that standpoint, I
Yeah.
feel like that's what I would learn.
For sure.
Okay, so do you believe in whatever you like or whatever you buy that you should have stocks in that company? Because a lot of people say, well, if you're buying a new pair of Nikes or Jordans, you should own some type of Nike stock. So do you believe in that, or do you believe in just spend your money however?
I don't believe that. Like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, obviously, if you like it, but okay, consider this. Occasionally, I'm a like Auntie Anne's cookies, right? I think
they're fire.
They're fire cookies. I don't see Auntie Anne's growing as a business to where they're going to open 100 more stores. Auntie Anne's is what Auntie Anne's is. You know what I mean? I miss they're probably at their ceiling of what Auntie Anne's is. I still like their product.
Yeah, they are probably at their ceiling.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to open more Auntie Anne's, right? They're going to be new cookies. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't mean, so you have to take into account what people don't really understand. And what they struggle with is the business aspect of what stocks is, right? I'm putting my money into a company because I think it's going to grow. It's not going to grow because it's on my feet. It's not going to grow because because I wear it. I wear it because I like the product they create. You know what I'm saying? My money, now my actual money being involved in a company is dependent on if the CEO is a good CEO, if the numbers checked out, are they getting earnings? Are they reaching earnings? Are they, you know what I mean? Do I see them growing in 3 to 5 years, right? So that means if they grow 3 to 5 years, I mean the money, my $100 will now turn to $300, not to do anything but put my money into it. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to grow from the one pair of shoes I have on my feet.
Yeah.
Right, that's the technical side, right? That's the side that we have to introduce as business, right? What you just stated, I've heard a lot, but
you hear it a lot.
But it's general.
It's very general.
It's not really investing. It's not really why you should invest in a company. You know what I'm saying? So liking their product isn't necessarily liking the company.
It's understanding the fundamentals behind it. If you're a fundamental analysis, or if you're technical analysis, understanding which one and which is smarter to invest in, that's really the way.
Right. I mean, where's the company going to be at in 3 years? Right? Do you see it growing 3 times? And if you do, based off what? Right? You know what I mean? And those are the conversations that we need to have. You know what I mean? That's a real conversation. And that stuff becomes fun the more we do it. You know what I mean?
It does.
Yeah.
So talking about investing everything, and I know you're a financial, coach. I want to get your thoughts on the metaverse.
Oh God, I'm not as well versed in the metaverse as I probably should be. Only because, so I was just telling the gentleman here, right?
And I agree with what you're gonna say too.
You know what I'm saying? Like I do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the goal? The goal is to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, in any asset,
exactly.
Right? People who make money, you choose your venture, right? Don't feel pressured to get into what anybody else is getting into. If we're gonna make $1 million, do you know how many different ways it is to make $1 million?
Probably $1 million ways.
Do you know that? You can sell chairs, right? Do you know that you can sell the screws that go in chairs? Do you know that you can sell the paint that people buy to put on the chairs? Everybody sells something, right? And so we can do what everybody else is doing, or you can find what works for you, right? You know what I'm saying? I was at the Hawks game last night. We went to the Hawks and Cavs game, and we was and I was in like club seats, right? And club seats is so interesting to me all the time because there's so many people there. You know what I'm saying? And I know what I do, and I know I do well. But I'd be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I can't even enjoy the game because I'd be like, yo, what do everybody do? You know what I'm saying? Like why is there so many people here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do everyone do? And so, and that just shows you. I know anybody here ain't in metaverse. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just using metaverse as an example, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what do everyone do? So that kind of like gives me perspective all the time, right? To not feel pressured into, and not even feeling ashamed that, no, I don't know enough about NFTs.
Yeah, that's okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's cool, and I wanted to work. I think the metaverse is cool too, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this virtual world. You know what I mean? I leave that to y'all. I want y'all to know more about it. So, you know what I mean? Y'all can just tell me about it. You know what I mean?
Zach, you want to tell?
I'm the old
Zach
head.
loved the metaverse.
I'm
Is it like The Sims?
I guess you could say a little bit. It's like the metaverse is gonna be a world for people who really ain't for people who made working regular 9 to 5, they can feel like they're a whole different person in the metaverse. They can have a bigger house, they can have a nicer car, they could have a business in the metaverse. It's different things that can happen in the metaverse. Like, you know, Snoop Dogg has his house or he has his billboards. Mm-hmm. So you can promote your business. You can have a real business in the metaverse. You can make real money in the metaverse. It's just all types of things. And just like NFTs, me and Alexa are looking to do NFTs because you could actually build a community with just by having or owning a NFT. So it's different things that you could do with NFTs in the metaverse. But I mean, I like it because that's where we're going. But like you said, you have to have your own thing. Just because the metaverse might not work for Sam, don't mean it might not work for me and Alexa. Mm-hmm. So you just have to figure out what works for you. But I definitely.
And then you can't be too naive to. You can't be too naive to your point to not know what the country's doing, right? So you know, you definitely got to have one ear in, you know what I'm saying, at all times. Great business people do, right? Because we're moving where the country's going. It was a lot of companies, older companies, that wasn't on social media. Like now, you can't have a business and not be on social media. Shit is wild.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But it probably took a lot of companies. It probably took a lot of companies be like, man, I ain't doing that social media stuff. I ain't doing that social media stuff. Now you can't, especially you can't be a small business without having social media. Like it ain't happening. You know what I'm saying?
Like just passing out business cards or flyers, and now you have a website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right, 100%. And I was they put it was a lady. They did some lady. She worked for Crown Royal. So they were giving out, like, on the screen or whatever, they was talking about, you know what I mean, they named 3 people in their job. So one lady was an executive, one lady was this, and they was giving awards. The other lady was a social media curator, right? You know what I'm saying? I said, I thought briefly, I said, that's a job? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. 10 years ago, what is a social media manager? Stuff like that, you have to evolve with the world.
That's a real thing.
Time, yo.
It is.
Like, from a perspective of, like, you know, I do content creation, but you have to think, you have to do a lot behind the scenes. Y'all may see a 30-second clip, but that took 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, these photographers, social media managers, anything in marketing, graphic designers, they're making money.
Yep.
They are.
10 years ago, them weren't jobs. Or 20 years ago.
No.
So you do have to evolve with the world and what the world is doing.
Yep. So that's to your point, you know what I mean, I definitely, you know, I'm hip. But I am relying on you guys to know a whole lot more so I can just hire you.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm straight. Make sure I'm good.
Because I think, especially for younger people, they should just be really eager to learn. Because let's be honest, I'm way too young to even understand what I want to do for real in the next 30 years.
No, you ain't going. You don't know none of that.
Nah, I just, you know, fail early, fail
there
fast.
It is.
No. Okay. So yeah, you have anything else before we close out?
No. I'm just, you know, I'm happy for y'all, man. This is what we do. Let's give these people, you know, how to really do true finance. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the key. Like every business, you know what I mean, you know, we mostly get decided by the product and the, you know, and everything else. But I want us to really get into our numbers and know our numbers.
You know your numbers. I always say that just because of you. You gotta know your numbers. If the numbers don't make sense, don't get into it.
What are we doing? Red flag number 1.
That's red flag number 1.
Red flag number 1.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, I got you.
Thank you.
Let's do it. You the homie. Anytime.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys.
You guys, make sure you tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. We drop a new EP, and Money Mondays every Monday at 8 p.m. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace.